What's good? Tired this morning. But as always, we keep it moving. Now, the situation. What's up? What's up? What's up? Now, most of y'all are limited to the information of your time. Y'all don't understand that she's still twerking. I don't know. I ain't talked to her. She left me a message and I ain't respond. You need the air? You can go before me. No, because I'm on the phone, so you can go. Now, yeah. Now, here we go. Because I want to be clear here. Let's talk Michael Jordan and the Boston Celtics. I know y'all talk about the 63 on Bird and all that, right? No. This isn't about that. This is about the Bulls winning 3 championships. Michael Jordan's father is murdered. Michael Jordan's father gets murdered. Then, on top of all of that, after Jordan's father is murdered, he announced his retirement from the Chicago Bulls. But something else happened also during that time. Reggie Lewis passed away. Reggie Lewis from the Boston Celtics, he fell out on the court. They helped him up on his feet. He had some heart complications, and therefore he was done for. So, after these complications, Reggie Lewis went to a doctor. And guess what that doctor did? That doctor told him that he couldn't play anymore. Reggie didn't like that. So the Celtics general manager was Dave Gurrick. And let me tell you about Dave. All right? Let me tell you about Dave Gurrick. See, Dave Gurrick lived and breathed the Celtics. He lived and breathed Reggie Lewis, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, all of those guys. So, to lose Reggie Lewis, who's the star player, all-star player he was, he needed to get a doctor to get him back on the court. So they went and found some Dr. Feelgood. And guess what Dr. Feelgood did? Dr. Feelgood went ahead and said, this guy, I don't even think his medical license was renewed. And he was able to get approval. He was able to get approval for Reggie Lewis to go back to play in the NBA. The Celtics medical staff approved it. So they were all liable, as Reggie Lewis didn't even make it to camp. He died in a pickup game, getting ready for the season. And the NBA was more than happy because not happy that he died, happy that he didn't die on the court in an NBA basketball game. They did not want to see that at all. Now, absolutely. Hit that like button up. Now, as I've told you, after Reggie died, they parted ways with the coach. They parted ways with, not the coach, but the general manager. Dave Gurrick had to go for approving Reggie Lewis to be on that court. And the part he played, he had to step aside. The Boston Celtics could not continue, as this was a bad stain on them. Yes, for allowing such misjustice to take place. That was their crime. They allowed all this. Now, here's what happened. Yes, the Boston Celtics went in another direction. The Boston Celtics decided we need some changes here. So ML Carr was brought in. Very smart businessman. Celtic legend, black man, had a good rapport with players, and he knew how to make things work. So they brought in Dominique Wilkins. Now, Michael Jordan had just retired from the Chicago Bulls, and he was done playing for the Bulls. Now, here's the thing that people didn't really know. David Falk was very good friends with ML Carr. David Falk didn't get along with too many people at all. He's a very weird man, but had a very good rapport with David Falk. And David Falk says Reinsdorf is cheap. Michael does not like him. He says, I can't go on record and say that, but I will go on record to say this. If you can get Michael Jordan the Larry Bird deal, I could see him playing in Boston with no problem putting on the green. This is why ML Carr made the decision he made, and the boldness to come out and said, if the Bulls give me permission to talk to Michael Jordan, I can have Michael Jordan in a Boston uniform. Now, this is right after Jordan just retired. And Jordan's dedicated to baseball and all that. He was like, look, man, let me talk to Michael Jordan, and I guarantee you I could put him in a Celtic uniform. He went publicly and said this, so Reinsdorf would never approve. The only way they could get Michael Jordan to play for the Boston Celtics if Reinsdorf allowed them to, because Jordan was still under contract. Michael Jordan was making $3.2 million a year in the NBA. Three-time world champion, three-peat, and y'all paying him $3.2 million a year. So y'all are getting over. The whole league is getting over. David Falk believed Michael Jordan should get a percentage off every team in the NBA. He was like, he should be getting a percentage off of every team in the NBA, because wherever he goes, he sells out the place. People pay extra money. They hike the ticket prices up just because Michael Jordan's in town. The NBA didn't agree, and they were getting over. And Jordan took the NBA from a $100 million business to $1 billion business. Instead of Mr. Submarine as your advertisement, Michael Jordan single-handedly brought Gatorade in and removed Coca-Cola. Nike became the sponsor for the entire league. Now they were like, well, Michael Jordan makes like $40 million a year from Nike, so he doesn't need the money. It's like, No, it's about what he's earned. I'm like, I'm not a Jordan fan, but I know what he's earned. Can't take that away from somebody. So Michael Jordan was going to be a Boston Celtic. But when they knew it was never going to happen, ML Carr decided to go to the press and just start like blatantly blasting it everywhere. And David Falk loved it because it helped Michael Jordan get his money. You see, they knew this was not going to work. That Reinsdorf is a man of ego and pride. He's not going to say, okay, I'm cool with this. I'm going to let you guys speak with Michael Jordan. That's not going to happen. Just like now, it's like the Dallas Mavericks are not going to let the New York Knicks talk to Jason Kidd. It's not going to happen. They have to give permission. The only time they do that is when they know they're not going to re-sign the coach. Now, as this scenario happened is to be going on, there are so many different layers that are out there that people just don't understand because they're stuck in this conundrum and they just don't get it. But there's a lot of different instances that have come up and taken place that other people just weren't aware of. Now, granted, Michael Jordan wasn't the nicest human being on earth, but still he generated a lot of money. So when he left, the NBA had a big hole in it. So when ML Carr did that, and when Michael came back, that's why Michael came back. There was a negotiation when he came back. Michael came out and finished out that last year, and that was the end. That was in 94, 95. So when he came back, he said, I'm going to finish out this contract for these 18 games or whatever. And once that's done, we got to go into a new deal. So they were going back and forth in his office talking about the new contract for Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan had a 3-year deal. He wanted $50 million a year. And Reinsdorf was $50 million. There's no one player worth that much money. I'm looking like, wow. The Chicago Bulls went from being worth, they were worth about $10 million, $20 million max. He went from that being worth about $10 million to being worth $80 million to being worth over $1 billion. All off the strength of Michael Jordan. Matter of fact, they still off the strength of Michael Jordan. Once he told Michael Jordan, no one man deserves this money. And he was like, well, we make you your money. So, what you mean no one man deserves this much money? So Michael was upset. Yeah. Well, when you get to a situation that doesn't make sense, you have to either make it make sense or move on. No, he wouldn't have. Scottie is not mentally strong enough. All you got to do is go watch Scottie Pippen in Portland with the Trailblazers in Game 7. That's all you need to do. And that tells you all about who Scottie Pippen is. Now, if that's Michael Jordan out there instead of Scottie Pippen, they don't lose that game. Blazers don't lose that game. Now, here's the news. A lot of people are unprepared for the news. But here's the news. Once they couldn't pair up Jordan and Dominique, they went and got Dominique Wilkins. They couldn't get Jordan. Then the Celtics was using that to get the bad press of the death of Reggie Lewis out of the headlines and and trying to revamp what the Celtics are going to be moving forward. Scottie was inconsistent. No, he was consistently being Scottie Pippen. A role player. That's why when he went with Charles Barkley and them, they was like, dude, we thought this is Scottie Pippen. Like, what's going on? And he lasted 1 year with the Rockets, and he was out. He's like, okay, we got rid of Clyde, and we got Scottie Pippen. They signed him to a huge contract. Like, okay, we got Scottie Pippen. We gonna be all right. And they was like, come on, man, you got to step it up. Charles and Hakeem, they done. They old. It's up for you, Scottie. You the young guy with the big contract. You supposed to be turning up. Scottie consistently made poor decisions. Put himself in a vice. And he never could get out of it. Yeah, so that's the way I look at it. ungrateful and overrated Pippen. Pretty much, but to me, the story of the day or the moment was the fact that the Boston Celtics would have been rolling. Then you draft a young Paul Pierce. You know, Carr gets Paul Pierce to join, and that was it. So Michael Jordan would have been playing with Paul Pierce. They'd had Dominique Wilkins, and after the loss of Reggie Lewis, that was the replacement for Reggie Lewis. You know, the guy to come up and take that position was Paul Pierce. The man who ended up surpassing Larry Bird for most games played. Well, I think he had more points. One of the records he passed Larry. Start talking crazy. No, I'm telling you basketball facts that you probably didn't know, and when you probably research it and look it up, you're gonna go, damn, this guy's the truth. See, I lived it. You weren't probably born, so you don't understand that there was life before you. Instead of saying somebody's wrong, go look it up. Michael Jordan was coming to the Celtics, buddy. If the Bulls would have said, go ahead and talk to Michael Jordan, and they were gonna pay Michael Jordan, no problem. So because of tax reasons, Jordan didn't get $50 million a season. He ended up selling it on 33.5. Yep. Oh, wow, it's a bad accident. How does this stuff happen, man? Jesus Christ. How does something like this happen? Yeah, he passed Larry in points, and then they were talking about trading him before that happened. Like, should we trade him? It was crazy. Oh, yeah, that was Patino. My bad. Patino drafted him, not ML. And that ended up being the replacement for Reggie. Reggie died in 93. In 94, they got Dominique. They tried to get Jordan, and they was missing that spot. Then that happened, and the whole world was rocked. Well, he couldn't get Jordan because they wouldn't allow it. It helped Mike get his $33 million because he knew Mike could get it. The money that Michael Jordan wanted, the Celtics would have paid it. Can you imagine if Michael Jordan returned to the Bulls and he only played that 95 season? See, Jordan knew I can't go to a team that's rebuilding. And he knew the Boston Celtics were nowhere near title contention. So Michael was using that as leverage to get the money. David Falk was, because he wanted to come back to the Bulls. But Falk used ML Carr to get his agenda across. It was good. That's how you do it. That's called being a good manager for your client. It helped them get the bad press out about Michael Jordan. I mean, about Reggie Lewis's death and the Celtics being responsible and the role they played, and all of that bad press was gone once they started talking about acquiring Michael Jordan. They brought in Dominique Wilkins. So everybody's like, oh, we're going to be back. Celtics, baby. So Celtic fans were believing they were going to get Michael Jordan, which wasn't going to happen. But when you put it out there that if the Bulls were to give you the permission publicly, in the press, interviews, ML Carr said it, I know how to get Michael Jordan back. I know how to get Michael Jordan. When you start talking like that, you just embarrassed the Chicago Bulls. So they didn't take too kindly to that. And as a result, well, you saw the results. So and David Falk knew that the Bulls would have to pay Michael now. Got to pay him. Because you know another team will definitely pay him. And they got the money. They went publicly saying that they would get Michael Jordan. So if you don't pay Michael, Michael will be out of here. But Michael didn't want to leave and play with anybody else but the Bulls because that's the people he already know. He already know Phil Jackson. He don't know what's going on in Boston with the coach and none of this. Mike got to be in the mix. Plus, Horace, the former teammate, just beat him. And they held Horace up, in the air. And Orlando didn't win the championship. So now, this flips all the way upside down. Yeah, it got flipped upside down on top of his head. So once that happened, it's over. It's game over. Yes, Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins were going to be the Celtics dynasty if they just gave them. Dominique was on his last leg, so it would have been Michael's team. So Michael and Dominique would have been playing on the same team. They had a young team, a nucleus they were already in the playoffs, but they had a nucleus that could go all the way. Back in '94, they had Kevin McHale still. The team was starting to change. Because McHale ended up going to, I think he went to Charlotte or some team like that, but they ended up moving on, saying, "Well, Kev, you can go play where you want to play." Yeah, about 94. Yep, 94. I think he got out of there because I think they lost to Charlotte. That's what happened. They lost to Charlotte, and when Alonzo Mourning hit that jump shot, and then they had point seven, and they threw an alley oop to D Brown from out of bounds. Yeah, and he actually got that dunk off in time, and they really won the game. But the NBA wanted it to end, so they said, "Oh, well, time expired," and just waved it off. And that's how Kevin McHale's career ended. Yeah, Alonzo Mourning hit the shot. I never forget it. Then they threw an alley oop to D Brown, and he got it and dunked the ball, and that should have been a win for Boston. And they waved that off because they wanted to advance Charlotte. I mean, you got all of these people now. Everybody's got a story. So, no. ML Carr and Michael Jordan, Boston Celtics. That's all you got to really think about. Look, here's somebody talking about it now. Let me see if he knows.
You know that when Michael Jordan retired to go play baseball, Celtics GM ML Carr actually tried to make a move to get to the Boston Celtics. Yes, sir. ML Carr had a forward team to make some moves happen. He even went straight up to the Bulls GM Jerry Krause. He offered a first round draft pick and promised to do anything to get MJ to sign back with the Celtics. Even apparently shagging balls. And now Carr didn't just want MJ for his phenomenal basketball skills, but he also wanted MJ for his personal brand. But Jerry Krause was no fool. Even though the first picks would have secured their future, he knew that if any chance of Jordan coming back were to happen, they'd be best to keep him. And guess what? That eventually did happen. MJ came back and won 3 straight championships once again, while the Celtics took a little over a decade to win another chip.
So, look, this kid, he's a little off with what happened, but yeah, even this young kid knows. So, this is not an unknown fact. It's probably just unknown to you guys. But the truth of the matter is, he never was going to play for the Celtics. Because at this point, Michael Jordan wants control. He wants to have his coach, he wants to have the guys he want on the team, and that's not going to happen. Michael didn't have a problem playing with Dominique because he knew about Dominique's score. And, but he's a black hole too. He going to shoot the ball. So to play with both of those guys, it wasn't going to be long, but this wasn't the same human highlight film Dominique. Dominique could still play the game. He could shoot. He could do everything else. He's just not going to do those high flying dunks that you knew him for. Yeah, he averaged 17 points a game for the Celtics. He just wasn't the human highlight film anymore. Well, yeah, it's the art of it. You know, Michael Jordan is probably the greatest commodity there was. Hmm. No, no. Michael Jordan had a fleet of fast cars, dog. He won a Corvette off somebody. Like he's a Corvette guy, Porsche, for Lamborghini, anything that was moving fast. Mike wanted it. So he had vast car collections. The Maranello, that was his car. The Maranello. Yeah, I think he got it golfing. Yeah, Chevy used to give him because he used to advertise, had a deal with Chevrolet. They would give Michael Jordan a car. That would each year, and he loved the Corvette. The Corvette was like one of his first cars he wanted when he was young. Man, he wanted a vet Corvette. Yeah, I mean, when he first won, he had the AMG SL 55, the Benz, the AMG. That was back in like '99. He had that one. After they won the six championships, he was retired. He was driving that one, the convertible. Hmm. Yeah, Mike wasn't gonna play. He at that point he wanted to get right back to the final. Like the regular season bored him. He had gotten to the point where the regular season was just boring to him. At that time, people have to make up their mind about what's happening. Now, Gilbert Arenas, he's a clown. He doesn't know anything about Jordan in the '80s. He was born in the '80s. Like he don't remember that era. So all he's going off of is the Last Dance. Jordan ran cocaine out of the '80s. I'm like, boy, what are you talking about? Jordan didn't run cocaine out of the '80s. It was guys doing cocaine still in the '90s. What are you talking about? It's just that now they have real corporate sponsorship, new endorsement deals. They put people in drug programs now that that was real. It wasn't just to get you back on the court. It was to try to save you. The NBA had changed, and the value in the NBA had changed. It jumped up there as a giant to compete with baseball and everybody else, and like the NFL. It was a modern day event, and it got away from what its integrity was, which was the game. The game was was what was going to dictate who was who and what was what. Now we got manufactured people where great players, you knew they were great and they were just great every night. You ain't have to worry about it. You knew what they was. Like you knew Mike was great, but you didn't have to manufacture him. You didn't have to manufacture Larry. You didn't have to manufacture Magic. They was as advertised. They didn't need a hype job. Isaiah Thomas was no hype job. Barkley, Patrick, Carl, no hype job. Hmm. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, definitely is fatigued. I had a meeting today. I was not too happy to have to get up to go do this meeting, but I had to. And I've been up ever since, so I need to take a nap. recuperate on the sleep I missed, and get caught up on the Diddy trial. So I'll see y'all when we do the breakdown for the Diddy trial. Deuces.